This must be the Viper's Nest. Scariest part of town, no sign. Just that one dude glaring at everyone. Well, I'm here now. Just another day in the life of an idol.
Oh, there you are. Man, this place is the worst. I think someone peed on me.
Freddy? What are you doing here?
What, you thought I wouldn't notice you skulking off? You didn't even bring any equipment, Grace.
Freddy, please tell me you don't think you're some kind of adventurer.
I'm sorry. Are you not about to head into a monster's lair at great personal peril? What else would you call that?
You're such a dork. I adore you.
Good, because I'm not about to let you wander in there without backup. Who knows? Maybe the stuff I know about Medusa might actually apply. Well, that'd be a switch.
Okay, I'll bite. What do you know about Medusa?
Well, you know she was human once, right? And she was cursed?
Not really, no.
Cursed by Athena. Or so one of the stories goes, anyway.
But doesn't she work for Athena?
Hey, don't look at me. My knowledge of this stuff stops at a few thousand years ago.
Do you think she actually turns people to stone?
Let's hope not, or this could be a short visit. Or a really, really long one.
I'm serious.
Perseus used a mirror to reflect Medusa's gaze back at her. Oh, maybe you could use your phone.
You think that would work?
Unless you brought a mirror, Grace, it's all you got.
She was once human, but she's definitely a monster, right?
Yeah, one of the worst. But, you know, so was the Minotaur.
Asterion said she was scary. I have a feeling she's not like him.
Then I guess you need to be prepared for the possibility that she is as bad as the legends say. Though some of the stories also say that she was wronged by Athena and that what was done to her was an injustice.
And Athena just follows the rules, right? Okay, enough talking. Time to do this.
You have a plan for how we're getting inside, I hope?
Maybe. You're here to help?
Always.
Then I have a plan.
Grace, you're not... of course you are.
Hi there.
Viper's Nest is closed. Private party.
Yeah, the private party is what I'm here for. Why else?
All the guests have arrived. Do you have an invitation?
Does an idol need an invitation?
Go on in. I'll send word to the boss you've arrived.
Who's that there? You've messed up my flow. Just get your drink, girl, and take your seat. Oh, it's the muse. There are sacred bites, and then there's this sacred bite. So wrong, so right. I'm really gonna hate myself.
Stop, I'm warning you. This is something you don't want to do.
Tell me more about me, look at you. A prime sashimi with opinions, too.
Medusa, listen, I'm warning you.
Yes, keep on warning
There's no
me.
rewinding, it's something you can't undo. Can't undo.
It's kind of the point, lovely. Now look into me. Your body glows freely every turn as it tenders, turning gently as it renders. I think you're saying I can't speak, and that was why can't I speak? I call it the preparation. All right, that's fine. You want the boring facts? Well, dear, this process makes your meat relax. Don't you just don't? And miss that lovely musy taste of you. And it's just murder on the jumpers too. That thing you said before, you're right, it's true. Feels extra special doing something you can't undo. Look into me. Oh, she's looking away. Hey, look
You flipped that hood.
into me.
Then out came the snakes. You're so
And be
finally some stakes. Oh, the ice thing. What a difference an actual monster makes. Athena made you like this.
She was mad at me. So
Well, why was she mad?
she said I'd been bad.
Had you been?
No. Now look into me.
Medusa, look into your own eyes. Nope. Okay, the phone thing doesn't work on you. Nevertheless, let's take a look at you. Fan called you hideous. That's just untrue.
Enough.
I'd kill for eyes like that. The body, too.
Don't look at me.
Maybe the hair needs some attending to.
Don't look at me.
Big picture, honey. It's nothing you can't undo. Yeah, you're not a killer. You're much too cute.
You're lost, little girl. No more Hail Marys. We both know the cute girl's you. The killer's me.
Don't know, you don't know.
I do know that you didn't
Kill Calliope. So you know that it's true that I didn't do it.
No.
Yes, you do know, you know. Does that mean Athena knows?
No. Fine grace.
Don't you see, Medusa? You are just her tool. Your queen's a user. You're Athena's fool. Apollo could get you free. He's a friend to me.
That's what she said to me. Apollo
Can get you free.
Medusa free.
Is that a yes?
That's a maybe.
Maybe what? Did I miss something?
Is she serious?
That depends.
What do you think, Medusa? Will you help me out?
Oh, fine, fine. What exactly is it that you want, pretty muse?
You can start by telling me whether you tried to eat Calliope like you just tried to eat me.
Blast! This is why I didn't tell Lady Athena. I knew it would come back to haunt me. I only followed pretty Calliope to the reliquary. I never spoke to her, never even caught up to her. I swear it.
That's what Asterion told us, more or less.
But you were there that night.
Yes, yes, I admit it. Ugh, Lady Athena will have my head. She'll mount it on a pike. Whatever you might think of me, I had no part in the Muse's death. I did not even know she'd been attacked until I saw her fleeing.
Asterion said he caught up with you out in the fog. Is that right?
I thought he was the one who had attacked her. He is a great beast of a creature.
He killed Hecate's cat by accident, but this still seems hard to believe.
Yes, I only realized my mistake once I caught up to him, and by then the Muse was gone.
And you never found her afterwards?
I thought she might flee to her pretty home, or to the sharp and prickly Persephone. She did neither.
Yeah, she came to see me. You followed Calliope to the reliquary. Why were you shadowing her at all?
I am Lady Athena's spy master, yes. Calliope has been trouble from time to time.
So you were spying on her?
I keep watch over every idol who no longer lives in Olympus, but especially Calliope. When I realized she was headed to the reliquary that eve, I followed. I had a duty to Athena.
Did you ever find out why Calliope went there?
I was never close enough to ask. When I drew near to the reliquary, that is when I saw the Muse fleeing. She was frightened, bloodied, dying.
Let me guess, that made you hungry.
I gave chase, yes, but to discover the truth. I knew Lady Athena would wish to know.
That does make sense from your perspective.
I didn't learn the truth until later. And then it was far too late.
Why should we believe you? You did just try to eat me, remember?
I agreed to help you. I speak the truth.
Right, and not at all trying to cover your own ass.
You presented an opportunity. Oh, to taste the sweet, sweet blood of a hero once again. It's a problem. I've been working on it, I really have. I know it's hard to believe what a monster tells you, but it is true.
You haven't told Athena any of this? You agreed to help, remember?
I told her Calliope was at the reliquary that night. I did not tell her I was also there.
Why not? Wouldn't Athena find out from Hecate anyway?
I was not thinking clearly. I panicked. Lady Athena barely tolerates my presence as it is. If she thought I was involved in any way, if she even suspected...
Okay, let's say we believe you. For the moment.
I've told you everything I know. We have a bargain. You said my curse might be lifted.
I'll ask Apollo. It's all I can do.
Whatever you do, pretty muse, I beg you. Do not tell Athena of my indiscretion. Show mercy. I know what I am horrifies you. It horrifies me as well. I cannot help what I am. I did not ask to be cursed like this.
Whether I tell Athena depends. Have you done this before?
Don't you think Athena should know what her spy master is like?
No, she cannot. I am a lost and cursed thing. No idol. If Lady Athena should learn the truth... I hope you find what you seek, pretty muse. And that we meet again someday. And sing a different song.
Pondering the big question, Grace. Do we actually believe her?
She gave us the same story as the Minotaur, but something's still not right. I don't buy it.
How do we catch her in the lie, though?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
So, the hunt continues? Great. More adventures for me, then.
Hey, I really appreciate all your help, Fred.
Right? I am so good at this. Who needs to be an idol?
Is this where you offer to be my kick-ass high priestess?
Am I not already? Seriously, am I not?
Oh, if it isn't, the lovely Grace?
You knew. Right from the start, you knew Calliope was there that night.
Well, yes. She asked for the key and I gave it to her, no questions asked. I told you I didn't know what happened to Calliope, and that's the truth. I did not. So I nudged you in the right direction.
So you were what? Just trying to be helpful? You still aren't telling me something.
What possible reason would I have to—
Tell me, right now.
Medusa learned that Calliope was going to the reliquary because I told her. Now, before you say anything, I had no idea of the fate awaiting our dear muse. And you yourself said Medusa was not responsible. I simply had to know if I'd inadvertently, rather innocently—
And what happened to Mr. Living the High Life? Mr. Let's throw caution to the wind? Is that all just a cover for someone who will do anything to come out on top? What else will I discover, Pan? I'd rather learn it now than later.
I wish I could tell you, Grace. I truly do.
Ah, Grace, you're back. That's good. I was just about to call you.
He means he wants me to call you because Paul here still hasn't figured out how to use a phone.
That's not true. I know how, I just don't like them. They're confusing. Anyhow, I've been contemplating our list of suspects, and I think Pan is someone we need to consider.
Why Pan? I thought you'd rejected him as a suspect.
Persephone did, but I've had time to think it over. Pan is a schemer, a traitor in favors. He always has been. His sudden appearance in all this cannot be coincidental.
You think he could have killed Calliope after all?
Perhaps. Or he knows who did and is trying to turn it to his benefit. He always knows more than he pretends.
Wait. You don't like phones?
I just don't like talking to people I can't see.
No, it's the ringtones. They scare the crap out of him. I kid you not.
I'm not frightened. Only a child would be frightened. They're just very loud.
Yeah.
Can we return to the subject of Pan, please?
You might be right about Pan. I thought it could be Medusa, but now I'm not so sure.
Why? Is that why you've taken so long to see me? You've been investigating on your own?
Right. Let me explain.
You went to see Medusa and you didn't even tell me? Grace, that could have ended very poorly.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you were worried about me.
Well, yes. I mean, you're not invulnerable, Grace. Neither was Calliope.
I do appreciate the sentiment.
If you've cleared Medusa's involvement, that still leaves us with Pan. Aphrodite is holding a party of sorts, one you should attend. She is closest to Pan. Indeed, she knows almost all the idols. If anyone is up to something, she's bound to know.
What do you mean by a party of sorts? I mean, I'm always down for a party, but...
It's more of a remembrance than a party, really. It's difficult to describe.
That's awfully vague, Apollo.
It'll be easier to see for yourself. It's nothing you can't handle.
You know Aphrodite better than I do. Can't you talk to her?
Well, talking to Aphrodite isn't something anyone does with much success these days.
Well, if that's the case, what makes you think I'll get anywhere?
There's a standing invitation for the Muse to attend this party. Calliope never went, so Aphrodite will be thrilled to see you. Trust me. If I thought you couldn't get her to talk, I wouldn't suggest it.
Okay, I'll go. Eventually.
Perfect. I will see you there.
Paul, you should see this. The names you wanted me to look up are getting weird results.
I don't doubt it. I was hoping you could...
Get over here!
No worries, Paul. I'll see you later.
Hey, so what's the news, Miss Muse?
Miss Muse.
Well, does a muse have a proper form of address? I just want to hear what exciting adventures you've been having. Everything else okay, though? Do we know who the killer is yet?
Not just yet, no.
Okay, well, let me know if there's anything I can do. If I have to hustle to become your high priestess, well, so be it.
What are Kaz and Brian up to? You didn't tell them anything, did you?
No, I told them you came home, that you're okay, but that you're having a moment. They send their love.
Should we tell them, do you think?
What for? They have their own problems. Plus, Brian can't keep a secret to save his life, and Kaz is officially homeless.
Is he still crashing on Brian's couch?
Grace, you do know that Brian doesn't have a couch, right? Just some giant beanbag things?
Then where is Kaz Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cute. They'll tell us when they're ready. But right now, it's best just to not mix them up in this.
I should really apologize about the band. This kind of puts a dent in your plans, doesn't it?
You're right, Grace. How dare you sabotage my dreams? I am so mad I could spit.
You know what I mean. Nobody could have seen this coming, sure, but it's always been something with me.
Well, as I see it, there are two ways this goes down. One, neither of us gets back to the band. It was just a thing we did for a while before I founded a cult in your name. Or two, we get back to it and the band now has the Muse as its lead singer. Edge of Elysium becomes the coolest and most appropriate band name ever.
Ugh, I still really hate that name.
Look, Grace, you can't be the source of all the drama and name the band, okay? That's the rule.
Exactly how much do you know about the Greek gods, Freddy?
I know my Greek mythology, but what I've read clearly doesn't line up with who they are today. Or who they ever were, maybe.
Still might be useful. There's got to be some truth to those stories, right?
Maybe. Who do you want to hear about?
What about Apollo?
Okay, so the prophecy stuff checks out. Apollo was god of the sun and light, but also kind of enlightenment in general. He's always talked about as this beautiful and cultured god involved with the arts and the muses, kind of a Renaissance man before the Renaissance.
He's clearly had a rough time since those days.
Well, he was also a giant horn dog, Grace. I can list off like a dozen men and women Apollo has had as lovers, and there's probably more.
Weren't they all like that, though?
I mean, Apollo's no Zeus. He never assaulted anyone as a swan. And no, they aren't all like that. Our sun god had a reputation.
Tell me what you know about Persephone.
Honestly, she's the least like her stories. Usually, she's either a victim or just the wife of Hades, or both.
And that's it? She was kidnapped by Hades, end of story?
Pretty much. Her mother was so angry she created winter. But otherwise, Persephone was just your average sweet and virginal fertility goddess.
You're right, that doesn't sound like her at all.
Must be hard to be defined by this one thing that happened to you thousands of years ago. I'd be pissed if everyone thought my story ended there.
Well, she is pretty pissed. That much is true. Do you know anything about the Muses? Or Calliope in particular?
Yeah, for starters, there were supposed to be 9, though I guess there are some sources that said there were only 4, maybe 3. Each of the muses had her specialty. Did you know that Calliope is supposed to be the muse of epic poetry? She inspired the Odyssey.
Wow, I don't even like poetry.
Yeah, it was said her singing voice was unmatched. So they got that part right, at least.
Did she also lead the ancient Greeks in giant choreographed dance numbers?
No, but she once turned a bunch of snobby princesses into magpies, so there's that.
You said Pan was some kind of lust god, right?
Yeah, kind of. Pan's a god of the wild, and I guess that translates into a sort of lustfulness and earthiness, humping nymphs in the forest sort of thing.
And you don't like him?
Honestly, he's exactly what I'd expect him to be. All the stories say he's a lech and a beast. The Christians equated him with the devil. Weirdly, he's also the only god who's supposed to have died, though it's never really clear how or why. Anyhow, there's a great statue depicting Pan having sex with a goat. Next time you see him, you gotta ask him about it.
What about Athena? Is she really supposed to be the goddess of wisdom?
Sure, but mostly that's meant as tactical knowledge. Athena wasn't all sweetness and light. She was a warrior goddess. She was also the goddess of heroes. There are loads of stories where Athena helps guys like Odysseus or Jason or Perseus.
No female heroes back in those days?
Yeah, guess not. Women were the weaker sex, which maybe is why Athena was portrayed as being vindictive. She cursed Medusa, one of her own priestesses. She turned people into spiders, struck them blind, started the Trojan War. It's the whole thing.
Not being as wise as advertised is on brand for her, then. Just how many of these gods are there? From what I've heard, lots of idols live around here.
Well, there are tons of minor gods in Greek mythology, hundreds even, depending on how you define them. Oddly, there's never any mention of the word idols in relation to them. Maybe it's like how people worshipped idols?
I sort of assumed it was related to the eidolon.
Which is a Greek word, but I think it means ghost. An image of someone after they die.
Makes sense.
Me? I'm more amazed at all the big names missing. Not just Zeus and Hades, most of the Olympians seem to be gone. Makes you think about what's been lost, but also what might still be out there.
You think there might be other gods out there?
Well, there are all those gods the idols say wandered off. We don't know they're dead for sure, right? They could be living it up in Australia. Who would know? Then there are all the other mythologies, hundreds of cultures, each with their own pantheon. So what's so special about the Greeks? That only their gods are real, right? And all those other pantheons could be living in secrecy, just like the idols. And that means they're hidden from each other, too. Oh, they could be everywhere and no one would know.
It's like a whole other secret side to the world.
Yeah, it's cool, right? I hope I get to meet Ganesha one day. Or maybe Lakshmi? Oh.
I wonder how much of those stories are true.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I'm giving you the quick version. There are reams of textbooks out there covering all this, but even they rarely agree with each other.
Really? Nothing definitive?
Ancient Greece was 3,000 years ago, Grace. Not much information survived all that time, if it was even valid to begin with.
You know what I find weird? That the idols have managed to remain completely secret all these years. Sure, they have magic and whatnot, but in all this time, nobody's found them out? Athena is that good?
Who says nobody has found them out? The way I see it, it's like UFOs.
Okay, I have to hear this.
Okay, so you could have real evidence that UFOs exist and that governments have covered it up and people still wouldn't believe it. Why? Because they'd get laughed at if they admitted it. Imagine the headline, Greek gods exist and are living among us. What website would even run that?
Weird conspiracy ones. Yeah, you're right. Okay, that's enough questions for now.
You sure? I can talk all day. You know I can.
I'll check back with you soon, Freddy. Time for more mystery solving.
Welcome back, Grace. Is there something you came to discuss?
Tell me more about Calliope. You and her were good friends, right?
For centuries, we were far more. I was the god of the arts, and the muses were my constant companions. We went everywhere together. They had many names, but the three most common were Clio, Talia, and Calliope. The Sisters of Beauty, I called them, though they weren't always women.
I never thought of that. Do idols change gender a lot?
Most of us seek out inheritors who are like us, I suppose, but not all. Calliope, in fact, was a man in our previous incarnation. Christoph, I think his name was. A poet Calliope adored. I was surprised when she made him a muse.
Who did Calliope become after that poet, Christoph?
You have to realize we're already into the period where Calliope and I weren't really speaking. She showed up one day in her new form, the one you met. An opera singer whose name she never revealed. We fought, as I recall. I told her she couldn't pass on every time she met an artist she fell in love with. Eventually she'd forget everything about who we were and where we came from. She said she'd rather forget than wallow in old memories like I or the other idols were doing. It was time to wake up and make the best of our situation. Calliope was an idealist without compromise. Always. She hated what we'd become. What I'd become. She wasn't wrong.
From how you describe it, you and Calliope fought a lot.
As often as we saw each other, which became less and less as time wore on. However, she fought with everyone. Calliope hated the idols being kept secret. She and Athena would get into screaming matches over the rules, and it got so I could no longer protect her. She moved out of Olympus years ago and kept to herself. I just assumed she was wrapped up with some new artist when I got the news.
Do you regret not making up with her?
Every day I think about our last conversation and what I should have said or done differently. The problem with immortality is that you think you have all the time in the world.
It wasn't only fighting with Calliope, right? Surely there were good things too.
Is that how it sounds? No, she was marvelous. A force to be reckoned with if there ever was one. In the darkest days during the war, It was her songs that gave us hope. She kept Aphrodite alive through sheer determination, I think. Calliope cared. About us, about art, about people she'd only just met. It was her greatest strength as well as her greatest weakness.
I wonder why she picked me. I don't feel like I'm any of those things.
You underestimate yourself, Grace. I see a lot of her in you. She chose well.
I'd like to know a little more about you. All I know is you live in a dump, you have an oracle, and you...
I'm not sure what to tell you. One day has bled into the next for so long, I feel like I've been lost in the spaces in between.
Wow, that's a bit dramatic.
Yeah, well, it comes naturally. Music and the arts were once under my purview as a god.
How did that get decided? Did you have a big hat full of pieces of paper and you all picked at random?
No, we chose them for ourselves. Some, at least. Others were given to us by our priests. We collected godly responsibilities like marbles.
People collect marbles?
Oh, whatever it is mortals collect these days. Cars, perhaps? The point is, we took our godly duties very seriously.
You must have been very different back when you were a proper god.
I think most of us were. We saw ourselves as, I don't know, teachers. Mortals were our students, and we guided them to enlightenment. We thought we were special, infallible. I was as magnificent as the sun, and I surrounded myself with those who basked in my radiance.
That doesn't sound like you.
Yeah, I was arrogant. If there was a man or woman I desired, then I had to have them, or there would be consequences. You wouldn't have liked me. I wouldn't have liked me.
So what is Persephone's beef with you exactly? Is it just about what Hades did to her?
That's no small thing.
It seems more personal than that.
I mentioned how Persephone's kidnapping almost meant war between Olympus and Hades, yes? Well, while this was all going on, Persephone managed to escape the underworld, and I'm the one she encountered first.
Uh-oh.
Hades was hot on her heels, and I had a choice. Either do battle with Hades and start the war right then and there, or let him take her back. Zeus would have had my head if I had sparked a war. Yet all I still think of are Persephone's eyes as Hades smugly took back his prisoner. It's not my finest moment.
Apollo, have you ever tried, I don't know, talking to someone about how you feel?
I will never understand this modern fascination with therapy and focusing on one's feelings.
It might help. You never know.
Yes, I've tried it. There was one I used to speak to. Hecate enchanted him never to reveal what I told him. I don't know that unburdening myself to the man helped. He wasn't exactly trained for this sort of problem.
It is kind of hard to relate to a god, sure.
I do appreciate the thought. But I'm afraid muddling through is as good as it gets for us.
I'd like to know a little more about the idols. I am one now, right?
You are. What would you like to know?
Well, what are we? Where did we come from? If an idol is a soul that moves from person to person, it must have started somewhere, right?
The short answer is, we don't know. If I think far enough back, I can remember bits and pieces. I remember my first Pythian games, the day the idols split in two over Troy, the day my first son died. But before that, nothing. None of us do. I vaguely recall the very first Apollo many thousands of years ago, but was he the original? Did he appear out of the ether? I couldn't tell you.
Psst. Isn't it strange to not know where you come from? For all you know, the idols could be aliens.
Interesting. The notion that there might be some other place far away where we're the norm is comforting. Sadly, our memories are filled with blanks. There was a war with beings we called the Titans. A terrible conflict where half our number died, yet do I remember a single battle. The last was after Rome fell. Zeus called us together to relay the news, told us to prepare for battle. And then, in the blink of an eye, I was in the 16th century. What made us forget 1,000 years? What happened during that time? We don't know. Athena calls that period the gap.
The gap you mentioned. What was that like? Did you just wake up one day, or...
I know I was alive. I passed on my eidolon who knows how many times, yet the moment I woke up, as you call it, all memory of that period was gone. It was Athena who found us. I was in France, I think. She came to my farm, and the moment I laid eyes on her, I just knew. It all came back. Did someone do that to us? Did we scatter to the winds for 1,000 years on purpose? It's a mystery.
What about Athena? I mean, she's the one who found you, right? She must have been aware.
Athena claims she awoke on her own and spent the next century locating the other idols. We've pieced together very little of the gap or of our origins. We simply live with it. Gods we may be, but I'm afraid we don't have all the answers.
Earlier you mentioned your son dying. Did I hear that right? Can idols have children?
It was rare, but yes. Back in ancient times, some of them even became idols themselves.
Some of the idols are actually family, then?
Not anymore. Most of our children met terrible ends, a gift of the fates, perhaps. I don't know. The ones who weren't idols... It's hard, watching your children grow old and die. Never understanding why they can't have the same immortality you do, why you can't grant it to them. My first son is why I'm not permitted in Hades any longer. Let's simply say that most idols have stopped having children, and maybe leave it at that.
That's all I can think of for now. I'll see you around?
Of course. I look forward to it.
Fancy party? Check. Bunch of strangers? Check. Grace totally not dressed for the occasion? Check. Now, if only I knew what I was supposed to be doing here.
Grace, you made it. I'm so glad. I was beginning to wonder.
You didn't say this was a fancy party. I feel a little underdressed.
Grace, look at me. I didn't even button up my shirt. It's fine.
Why is everyone so quiet? You'd think someone died.
I should have told you about this earlier. I've been putting it off.
You're cute when you're all angsty. You get this little crinkle in your forehead.
You might not think I'm so cute after I explain. You don't have any of Calliope's memories, right? No deja vu recollections that aren't your own?
No. Should I have?
Not right away. For a while, you won't remember anything. We call it the veil. In time, the veil will start to lift, slowly at first, but eventually you'll remember almost everything Calliope did.
That's gotta be a lot of memories. She was, what, 1,000 years old?
More than that. Much more.
Then what happens to me in my piddly 20-something years? It can't be good.
Eventually, it's like a flood. It becomes difficult to separate what's you and what's them, and all who came before them.
You're saying I won't be me. I won't be Grace. Will I start calling myself Calliope?
Maybe. Eventually, most of us do, but most of us were chosen and prepared.
And I didn't choose this.
I understand. Take some time to let it sink in. If you like, we can talk about it later.
What does this have to do with the party?
Aphrodite hasn't been the same since we came to the New World. She has horrific memories of what she endured during the war. Passing on her eidolon is a way to forget, for a while. That's what this party is for.
Why throw a party for it? Doesn't that mean everyone's here to...
Watch her die? Yeah, I suppose so. We're also here to celebrate. We're here to help Aphrodite remember before she forgets again.
Yeah, sounds like a real banger.
This party isn't for us, Grace. It's for her.
Do you support what Aphrodite is doing here?
It's not my choice to make, Grace.
Yeah, but you must have an opinion.
Eventually you will remember what we experienced during the war, and eventually you will remember that what Aphrodite experienced was far worse. If this is the mercy she requires, I will not tell her she should not take it.
This isn't the first time Aphrodite's done this. She's held this kind of gathering before, right?
This is her 4th, I think, perhaps 5th.
So every time the veil, whatever you call it, when it starts to lift...
Aphrodite's memories return, and eventually it is too much. We gather to pay our respects and to honor the past, while she still remembers it.
Wait. Calliope refused to come to these parties. That's what you said.
She refused on principle. Everything Calliope did was on principle. She believed Aphrodite was indulging her sadness, wallowing in it. She thought Aphrodite should try harder. It was a point of contention between them. Aphrodite will be grateful you're here. Trust me.
I don't know, Apollo. I don't like the whole idea.
You want her help, don't you?
Yes, but...
At least speak with Aphrodite before you make a final decision. She's not here just yet. Until she arrives, I suggest mingling.
Mingling?
Yeah, mingling. Talk to Eros. Or we can talk more if you like. Just try to relax, Grace.
Sure, yeah. Relax. That's what this party is for, right?
Grace!
Hey, Eros. Nice to... Oh. Okay.
Aphrodite will be so happy you're here. It means so much, you have no idea.
Are you okay? You seem a bit...
Every time she does this, I don't know how to handle it. I almost want to run upstairs and demand she stop, Remind her that this never works. Sorry, I shouldn't unload on you. It's been a bad week.
From the sounds of it, this happens a lot.
Every 20 years or so. That's how long she can hold out until she just can't stand it anymore. Every time, Aphrodite forgets. At least for a while. But I don't. I remember everything. I'm there for the nightmares, the panic attacks, the days she doesn't even remember the war's over. And now I'm arranging her gathering again, so she can die again. And I'll watch it all again.
Is there no other way? Does Aphrodite really need to...
To die? I've asked that so many times. She's tried magic, drugs, psychotherapy, meditation, everything we could possibly think of. For a while, she'll deny anything's wrong. It all seems fine, and I start to hope. Maybe this time will be different. Then the nightmares begin, and the memories return. More with each passing day until... I hate it, but I see her agony. I can't deny her this.
Maybe I just don't understand, but... Isn't this... like suicide?
Some of the idols have committed suicide. They let themselves die without passing on their eidolon.
What happens?
What you'd expect. They're gone. Forever. Mother says she can't do that. She won't. Not until she sees Hephaestus again, I suspect. Not that what's happening here is anything casual. She still has to die for a while.
Is it okay if I ask what happened? I don't mean to pry, but I'm new. I really don't know.
I know, but it happened to Aphrodite, not me. It's not my story to tell.
If I know what she was dealing with, I might be able to help.
Could you? I suppose it wouldn't hurt. What happened is that Brother Ares happened. He missed out on the first world-spanning war, you see, so he was damned if he'd miss out on the next one. He found some jackbooted mortals so full of themselves and their supremacy, and he told them about the idols. Then they came for us. Took us completely by surprise. Some they killed, but Aphrodite, her they captured.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
Maybe I shouldn't ask, but is there any way to change Aphrodite's mind?
You say that as if I haven't tried. If only... She'll ask you to use your power as part of the celebration. Could you use it to inspire her?
I can't force anyone to do anything they don't want to, Eros.
That's not what I'm asking. I believe that deep down, she doesn't want to do this any longer. She must see it isn't working. She just needs the strength to try. Or I hope that's all she needs.
What if you're wrong? What if she decides not to do this and it keeps getting worse?
Then I'll be with her to help her reach the other side.
If she can.
Yeah. If she can. It's a lot to ask. I'll understand if you can't. All I want, one way or another, is to get through tonight.
I know all these people, Grace. For as long as I can remember, I've known them. Yet sometimes I feel like I don't know any of them at all. Or they me.
I spoke to Eros. He's pretty broken up over all this.
Oh, poor Eros. Each new successor, his hopes rise up once more. And then he watches the new Aphrodite crumble, piece by piece, only to start all over again. It's so different from the olden days. Once he was the eternal disaster, and Aphrodite kept constant vigil over him.
Maybe he feels like he owes her.
I think he's followed her into a dark void, and somewhere, deep down, believes he deserves no better.
You don't enjoy these family gatherings, do you?
Are they family gatherings? Like the sort mortals have?
You call each other sister and brother and mother.
Well, yes, but...
And you've been together like 100 times longer than I lived with my family. All you're missing is a drunk uncle everyone has to apologize for.
That would be Pan. But yes, I feel very much out of place.
You look like you're in physical pain just being here.
Oh, enjoying my discomfort, are you?
Of course, it humanizes you. Makes up for all the abs on display.
I'm so glad you approve.
I should get back out there.
Back again.
I should get back out there.
My family. Having you all here, gathered once again to see me off, it moves me. More than I can say. My loves, my darlings, my dearest friends. And you. Oh, my dear sweet thing. I dare not hope that you, with all your troubles, might sing me to my sleep. Yet here you are. Yet here she is. Huh.
I was hoping we might have a chance to talk.
Oh, but we are talking, are we not?
I mean the two of us, in private.
And abandon my guests when I've just arrived. I have so many farewells to make.
Is this Grace, my lady? The new muse?
Oh, what manners I have. Grace, Grace, meet the lovely mortal woman who shall tonight become the new me.
Hi, my name's Venus, and yes, it really is Venus. Nice to meet you, Grace.
Hi. I have to admit, it'll be weird watching this happen the, proper way.
Because I'm chosen?
Yeah. I wasn't. Not like this, anyhow.
Yeah, Lady Aphrodite told me. I'm so sorry, that sounds awful.
There will be so much time for you lovelies to speak later. Now, we must prepare for my departure.
Are you sure we can't talk first? I really need your help, Aphrodite.
I know you do, my dear. I wish I could be there for you, but I'm afraid my time is up. But since you've shown such kindness in coming, I will ask Eros to make himself available to you afterwards. There's nothing I know that he does not. He is my son, my truest friend, my longest love.
Won't he be a little distracted?
Eros has been through this before, Grace. He knows what must be done.
I was hoping I could talk you out of it, actually. Forgive my saying so, but you seem fine.
Yes, it might seem that way. Well, tell me, Grace, why should I let you try to talk me out of this,
You must know this isn't working. How many times have you done this? Has it gotten any better?
Better? I do not remember what better feels like. I remember many things. I remember virtue, heroism, even love. All of it eclipsed by the memories of pain. But tonight is not about becoming better. It's about respite from the pain and honoring the memory of what was. Go, enjoy the gathering, Grace. Tell me when you're ready to begin.
I should apologize, Grace. Saying that I was chosen like I'm somehow more special, I really didn't mean it that way. I hope you can... I'm sorry. It looks like I'll be doing that a lot. Lady Aphrodite said I'm ready, but I don't know.
Having second thoughts? If so, now's probably the time to mention it.
I would never do that to Lady Aphrodite. I'm just nervous.
That's understandable.
If I can ask, what does it feel like after it happens? Do you feel different?
I'm not sure. It happened so fast, I didn't know what to think. Calliope died, and then all this happened.
You didn't remember anything? About her? Who she was? She was just gone?
Yeah. Isn't that the point of all this?
I just wanted to be sure. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it could be real.
How do you know Aphrodite exactly?
So I was working at this homeless shelter, right? A couple of years ago, and she came in with one of the older residents. And she was there in this, like, amazing dress. And she's sitting with this guy and really listening to him. Like, they were old friends or something. I just thought, what is someone like her doing in a place like this? So, I just went over and introduced myself.
That's it? Just like that?
Yeah. She came back to the shelter a few times, but by then, I guess she'd taken an interest in me instead.
I have to ask, how does one choose, well, the next you? How did that conversation with Aphrodite even come up?
I didn't know what she really was. Not for a long time. I just figured she was this lonely rich lady. I loved her stories, though. Ooh, I could listen to her for hours, and she never asked for anything from me, not once. Then, one day, she brought it up, like it was nothing, like a job offer.
Did you believe her?
Hell no, not at first. Then she brought me to Olympus, and, well, hard not to then.
Your name's really Venus, huh?
Everybody asks me that. Even the other idols. Maybe that's why Lady Aphrodite noticed me in the first place. She says it was fated to be. I say it's because my mama was a diehard hippie.
Are you really okay with all this? You know what's gonna happen, right?
I saw a lot of people in crisis at the shelter. I knew something was wrong with Lady Aphrodite. She's in so much pain, Grace. she won't let you see how much. Eros called me one night desperate. She wouldn't stop screaming. She didn't know where she was. She's a good person, Grace. A good soul. She deserves mercy.
What made you agree? You're giving up so much. It can't just be about helping. Nobody's that nice.
I'm not giving up as much as you think. I'm just a painter.
A painter?
Did you think working at the shelter was my entire life? Painting doesn't pay all the bills. Once I'm Aphrodite, I want to keep painting. I'll have all those memories to draw on. The beautiful ones and the terrible ones. Maybe it'll even help her. Me. Process them, finally.
And if Aphrodite changes her mind?
I don't think she will. But if she does, I won't.
But don't you feel this is wrong? I mean, you're ending your life. It's like some kind of murder-suicide pact.
I don't think of it like that. Lady Aphrodite is not committing suicide, and I'm not being murdered.
Aren't you? Your life is ending. It's being taken over, swallowed up by Aphrodite's grief.
I'm becoming part of something bigger. Something amazing. Or maybe you're right. It'll be terrible, and I'll end up in so much pain I'll regret it.
So why go through with it?
Because Lady Aphrodite needs me. Maybe, just maybe, if I'm added into the mix of all the people she's been, maybe things will be different.
Back again.
I don't think I'll have a chance to talk to Aphrodite. Not before, you know.
I was hoping she might have spared a moment.
What should I do?
You have two choices, Grace. Either you do as she asks and sing her to her rest.
At which point Venus won't have Aphrodite's memories yet.
Or you somehow convince her to remain with us and hope she's grateful.
And doesn't regret it. Or get angry at me for ruining her party.
Do what you feel is right. It's a risk either way.
Have you spoken with Venus? She seems really...
Nice, earnest, a genuinely good person.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's not an accident. Ever since the war, Aphrodite has sought out the kindest, the most innocent souls to be her successors. She chooses them because she believes that over time, it might make her a better person. A more worthy person.
Wouldn't it be better if she chose people who were, I don't know, more resilient?
I suppose that depends on your definition of strength, Grace.
I should get back out there.
I have tried so hard, fought for so long, but in the end, I must bid you all farewell once again. But before I go, I would like us all to remember the sacrifices that brought us here, to this strange new world. This time, it is with the help of our lovely muse that we shall be guided. We let them rise. We let it happen. We waited far too long. We thought we shouldn't intervene. We were wrong. We were wrong. Since the beginning we were hidden. We held court from up above. 'Twas the golden age of reason, and I the queen of love. But a plague of hate was spreading, and there were vultures standing by. Before we fell to our knees begging, we fell from the sky. We let them rise, we let it happen. We waited far too long. We thought we shouldn't intervene. We were wrong, we were wrong. We had revelry and rebirth, a family all together, till 13 million marching men cut us down forever. But Brother Ares made it happen, joined their war without dispute. Now the once mighty immortals are just mud under a boot. We let them take our loved ones, it's what they wanted all along. We thought they were beneath us, we were wrong, we were wrong. Oh, the power of the idols pounds within your chest. But for now I am in mourning for a love gone unexpressed. He was harder than the chisel, I was a horrid block of ice, a winter's chill that stayed until he made his sacrifice. The man that I ignored saved me when I fell. Yes, the husband I abhorred rescued me from hell. I thought it was a joke when it was said to me, he struck a deal with our enemy's enemy, made a secret weapon so my captors let me go. He gave up his freedom, leaving just a memory, and this love I'll never know is what he gave to me.
I can't believe what I'm hearing today. If your story stops there, I've nothing to say. I can't imagine. I feel like a child who grew up too fast. The goddess of love can't get past the past. What good is a flame when everything's ash? I can't imagine.
There's no excuse, but mortals can tell.
You know.
There's no sweet release, it's ongoing.
You know. You know.
Everyone's here to bid me farewell. Can you imagine?
I can imagine.
This really happened. I can't forgive the river's too deep. Its reflection won't lie, so just let me sleep. I can't let go of what could have been.
Lost in a moment, lost in a song. lost in a song, lost in a moment.
Mother, I've stood by your side, now I no longer see the purpose of love when it tears at the center of me. My arrows are rusty, forget the bow, and I won't be begging you not to go. But when you're away, you leave us a broken home. And you leave me alone, lost in a moment, lost in a song, lost in a moment, lost in a song, lost in a moment. There's fire in you yet. Aphrodite returns, she'll never forget. Finally we'll be free, lost in a moment, lost in a song, lost in a moment, lost in a song, lost in a moment. Lost in a moment. Lost in a moment. Mother, is it true? You've chosen to...
Live. I have chosen to live. I'm so sorry, Venus. I made you so many promises, dearest, and I won't be able to keep them.
My lady, all I ever wanted was for you to be happy. If this is your wish, I'll be with you at every step.
I as well. Always.
I hope none of us regret this choice in the days to come. But thank you.
It has to be better than doing the same thing over and over.
Does it? It could also be far worse.
Don't talk like that, Mother. We can fight this.
I'm so very tired, my loves, but I will. I'll try. Now then, Grace. You needed my help. No doubt regarding Calliope's death. Have you any suspicions as to who might be responsible?
Not exactly, but it has to be an idol. One with influence.
Oh? What makes you think that?
It had to be someone who knew Calliope and wanted her gone, with enough knowledge and power to fool the chorus. It also had to be someone who could get into the reliquary and attack her there, right under the noses of both Hecate and the Minotaur.
Calliope came to see us that night. She was agitated, frightened even, but she wouldn't explain why.
She said she had a plan. That must have been the reliquary.
A plan? A plan for what? What could she find at the reliquary that would help her?
Maybe she wanted a weapon. Something to defend herself with.
If only we'd known she intended to go to the reliquary. How on earth does she even get in?
She used the key, the one Pan gave her. When Calliope arrived, she dropped it. Then she laughed and said she'd better not lose it because Pan won't give me another key to the reliquary. I didn't know it was important.
Well, there's your help, Grace. I can't give you any better.
Come now, Mother. It's time you rested. It's been a long night.
If I don't, I suppose you'll both gang up on me again. Very well.
So, did they have anything helpful?
I gave him every opportunity to tell me. He said he didn't know what happened to Calliope.
Just because he gave her the key doesn't necessarily make that a lie.
Doesn't it? I thought you suspected him. What side are you on?
Your side, Grace. Always your side. Are you all right, Grace? You seem troubled.
I'm worried. I don't feel like I'm any closer to the truth.
Aren't you? Even after learning about Pan?
I can't help feeling I'm on the wrong track somehow. Maybe it's just nerves.
You really are amazing, you know that? Every hurdle, every piece of unpleasant news, you just keep on going. I don't know how you do it.
It kind of helps that I don't have a choice.
I just wish I could see the world through your eyes. Next to you, I feel very old.
How about you come with me sometime? Let me show you the world I see.
A tempting offer.
Sounds kind of corny, huh?
It really doesn't. I would love that. Can we go now?
Hey, I'm game if you are.
Take my hand for a minute. Let your hair down for a second. There's so much to like if you open your eyes. If you try to search for the light, you might be surprised. No, it's not hard to find. The courage you need to be joyful is something you build over time. No matter what I do, the answer's in you. That I will be here for the ride. Yes, I will be here for the ride.
I'll take your hand for a minute. Oh, it's more than I feel I deserve. It could grow on me, this world that you see. Yet I've been alive for too long. 1,000 years of learning about what could go wrong. I'm tired of being wrong.
If it all went wrong, and it could go wrong, still better to lose than to never open up. That's the one thing I wanna get across. The courage you need to be joyful.
I'd appreciate the campaign
something I'll come help you find.
if I ever let her know.
No matter what I do, the answer's in you.
The answer's in
I'll hold
me.
your hand all the while.
The courage you need to be joyful is something you build over time. No matter what I do, the answer's in you. I will be here for the ride. Yes, I will be here